Hello.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And for any of y'all that don't know, this is our power hour of true crime where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons or sometimes for no reasons at all.
That's right.
Just because they're crazy.
They are very crazy.
They're crazy, crazy people.
They are. You know what else is crazy? I have to talk to you about this. I've been dying to talk to you about it, and I waited till today.
I'm excited.
Okay, so have you seen that trend on the Chat GPT on Facebook where people are posting their pictures and then they're asking Chat GPT to roast them?
No.
Okay. Well, it's a thing. So they submit a photo and it's like, and you know how me and Chat GPT are tight. So mine's like, hey, is this for the Sassholes? And I'm like, yes. And it's like, do you want more sass, or do you want it darker, or do you want it clean for radio? And I'm like, no, go in hard. And it's like, oh, you want to be canceled. Got it. So
I
roasted us.
I just don't even see the point.
It just pokes fun.
I know, but I'm like, it's already hard enough to have a strong mental health space.
Now
I'm having fucking AI make fun of me.
The robots are taking over. They're even taking jabs.
Oh,
I know. So I submitted our promo photo of us in the red dresses. And I sent it to the Jess, and it'll pop up on the screen right now. Okay. And I would like you to read it.
No.
Yeah.
Not in the space for this.
Yeah, you are. It's fun. It's just fun. I redid it a couple of times to tweak it to how I wanted it.
Okay.
Because it had our personalities.
How long is this?
It had our personalities flipped.
It's a little
Start
long.
reading from right there.
It's a little long.
Oh, it's worth it.
Heather and Brooklyn didn't just walk into this photo. They stormed it. Like they're co-hosting a true crime docuseries called Who Asked You? And the answer is always no one, but we're saying it anyway. Heather's out here looking like she just headlined a PTA meeting and left with 3 enemies, 2 lawsuits, and the last deviled egg. That smile says, bless your heart. But those arms say, I will burn your reputation to the ground and still make it to brunch on time. She's not mad. She's just severely disappointed in everyone who isn't her. Meanwhile, Brooklyn's giving big, I came here to stir the pot and forget my...
What's it say?
Shit. Okay. Brooklyn's giving big, I came here to stir the pot and forgot my spoon, so I'm using drama energy. What the absolute fuck? What the fuck? That tattoo says, be free, but we all know it really means unleashed and unhinged. She's got the stance of a woman who will ghost you mid-argument and then come back just to win.
That's true. Yeah.
Together, these two look like they're auditioning for the reboot of Thelma and Louise, but this time they drive the car off the cliff on purpose, just to make a point. They're not just a podcast. They're a threat, a warning, and a highly caffeinated lifestyle choice. Approach with caution. They're armed with hot takes, cold shoulders, and at least 1 emergency flask.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah, so you can do it. And the first one was kind of too,
roasting does not feel like what that was.
I know. I saw the
That's
fear
nice.
behind your eyes, like looking at me like, this is being recorded.
I mean, I watched the roast of insert every celebrity, so I was expecting like some daddy issues or something.
Oh, no. Yeah. It said, do you want to go darker? And I was like, no, that's good. Like, we're going to stop right here before I weep.
Right.
So I thought that was funny.
It was funny.
I now have a new hobby, and people have been posting it up on the socials, and so I'll have to post
on the
socials. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of things I feel like I'm seeing a lot of posts for is AI generated photos.
Oh my God.
The headshots.
Can y'all stop? Okay.
Dude, I get it. Okay, so first, I don't know how much the cost of that is.
$35.
Okay, so way cheaper.
Someone told me.
So much cheaper than getting a professional headshot.
Mm-hmm.
But we can all say with true honesty and clarity that we can all tell that that is an AI headshot. Right. And it doesn't look like it's you. You can tell.
Yeah, you're going to catfish your clients.
Like I almost want to do it to see what I would look like.
Yeah. Like I'm
just intrigued.
Yeah. To each their own. I think headshots are more realistic. Now, granted, they're going to be the best version of yourself, but they're not like changing anything about you.
Well, you say that and it's like a headshot is your own personal normal makeup.
Right.
Like, Usually you're not paying a glam squad to do your hair and makeup. Usually.
Right.
Like, but I'm just a fucking average Joe.
Yeah.
But like those headshots are like the most perfect hair and the most perfect skin and the most perfect makeup.
Right.
And it's like, it's just not, I don't even look at the fact of like, wow, they really shaved 30 pounds off you, or wow, that's not even the texture of that person's hair. I don't even see that other than like the representation of the people just not being who that person is, even on like their most dressed up day.
Right. Yeah. Just be you. Love yourself.
I mean, I get using them. They're just too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is a thing is too perfect.
Right.
And those are just too fucking perfect.
That's a line in the sand. I'm like, this is me. I don't want to show up and then be like,
I don't feel like you can say it, and I love you, but you have professional headshots you paid over $200 for, right?
True.
I do too. So I feel different about it because I'm like, well, I paid the money and I got professional headshots taken.
Yeah.
Right? But all the other people were like, I don't want to pay $200 and have professional headshots taken. I have a $35 option online.
I wonder if you could do it and be like, just glam me up just a smidge. Like, I wonder how much
filter they can put on it.
Yeah. I wish that there was like just like if you were going to do anything else, like if you were going to blur a picture on fucking Canva, then you can set the percentage of it.
Right.
I'd be like, just, judge me up about 20%. I wouldn't be like, I now look like J-Lo.
Yeah. Make me a fucking supermodel.
Yeah. Like, I get it, but just take it down a notch. Right. I think.
I remember when I got my headshots, I'd also gained some weight, and I was like, any way you can thin out my arms? And I remember on like my headshot photos being like, everyone's going to notice those aren't my real arms. I mean, and then over here, 2 years later, 2.5, 3 years later, and now AI headshots are out there.
When we got those photos, I was like, I look fat in that one. I need you to smooth my stomach out.
Right.
We're like, so, I mean, I see it. I
had to take a drink, and I really need to swap out the water bottle I've been using.
Is it that time? Water.
No, it's that. I love this water bottle, but she is not conducive to recording. Oh. I am supposed to have a easy to drink vessel, and I did not today.
You want my water?
No, I'm fine. I'm ready to tell you a story.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to go into it. So my works cited page is pretty short. It was CBS 48 hours, Wikipedia, and then ChatGPT confirmed some dates for me. But for the most part,
48 hours?
48 hours, man.
They brought the heat?
Yes. And I'm sure I did some cross-checking on sites, but I didn't include them. So that's where I'm at. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Hollywood Ripper?
The name, when you asked me a couple questions about it, it sounds familiar, but I don't remember the specifics because I literally watch this shit every single day.
Right.
So
on this one, when I was reaching out to you, I was like, did I do this story? And now I remember, I was like, some stories you know a lot about because you grew up during them and you know that they were imprinted in your fucking psyche. And then there's other ones where you're like, why do I know so much about this case? It's because we did an episode that was themed on celebrities, like murders in celebrity households. And I had found this story whenever I decided to go with the dude from whatchamacallit? Frasier.
The one you said was
such a weird name.
Shit.
Right?
Everyone's yelling it right now.
It.
Who? I hate the show.
Casey
Frasier.
Grammer.
That's right.
Yeah. Is it Casey?
Kelsey
Grammer. I was like, what?
Casey Grammer.
Casey Grammer. Okay.
Title.
Right?
I'm texting it to you right now.
Anyway. So, I had dug into the story when we were doing that theme. So that's why I already knew a lot about it. And then this one, if you do remember, it has Ashton Kutcher doing a little cameo in it, which is just fucking insane as it is.
He's so cute.
So whenever you do serial killers, there's so many different ways to do it. And this time I wanted to fucking do it differently.
All right.
So
shake it up.
I am.
Shake it up.
I'm like a fucking lemon shake up.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love those.
Refreshing and a treat.
I love those.
So let's go right into the who.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the guy. Who's the fucking serial killer?
Oh, we're going off.
I'm going right out the gate.
She ain't burying shit.
Nope.
AI's not chatting up this GPT. You're like, this is it.
This is it. Michael Gargiulo. So he was born in Glenview, Illinois on February 15th, 1976. This was a suburb near Chicago, just for reference. He was raised in a working class household, and he wasn't an only child. He had other siblings. It's weird because ChatGPT was like, I can't confirm, but he had for sure one brother. And then as I'm going through my stories, they say in a replication of what happened type of scenario, they said him and one of his sisters. So I don't know how many fucking siblings he has. I'm just going to let you know he was unremarkable. Dude wasn't special. That's all I got to fucking say. He was quiet and he was smart. As he got older, he got into boxing as a teen and physical fitness was a focus. He wanted people to be intimidated by him, which, I mean, that fucking tracks for any teenager. I know that was like half of my motto growing up myself from a young age. And I'm not talking like a baby, more like preteen, teen. There were reports of him being aggressive, that he had a short fuse. He was manipulative. A bit of rage and controlling tendencies took place, but I don't have stories to tell you about. I don't have a moment that he was at fucking IGA and got pissed off that they were out of fucking half-price cocktail shrimp. I don't know.
I have to wait because you said not as a baby, and then I just pictured a manipulative baby. What would that be?
Right? Like every baby is manipulative.
They just have rage issues. You give them a bottle, they throw
do.
It. If they breastfeed,
already do.
If they breastfeed,
babies
they
already
bite
have
it. You
rage
change
issues.
them.
They're already
Babies
aggressive.
have rage issues.
They're already manipulative. We know this. They control everything. Yeah, they are.
Okay.
I want you all to note, though, that there wasn't any information out there about him growing up in a troubled home. He just grew into this type of person. There's no like, aha moment. It's just like, this dude's a fucking maniac.
That's interesting.
Yeah. As an adult, he ends up being a good looking guy. That is argumentative to me because I am not attracted to him. So if I'm not attracted to him, then he's not a good looking guy. But the general consensus of the rest of the world is that he was a good looking guy. And he is one thing that all men want. Height.
Oh.
Homeboy was tall. He was 6'2". He had dark hair. It was basically like cut and shaved short, cute, fit bod. Looks like he hits the gym sometimes, but drinks a lot of Busch Light.
Okay.
And he had a few tattoos, so a little rugged. He had that cute little boxer thing going for him, like that thinner frame, but there's muscle on there.
Cute little boxer thing.
He had zero issue in getting women. At the bars, chicks were throwing their game, trying to get a taste.
Just slinging them cats.
Yeah, throwing them panties at him. And he was always in some kind of relationship. His dick was always getting wet somehow, you know?
When you say that.
I know.
Every time I'm like, what?
There's so many things that I say that are just like a guy would say. And so it's just really off-putting when I do it. And I can't do anything about it.
Oh, no, it's not off-putting. It catches me off guard.
Oh, well, good to know.
Mm-hmm.
While he's in high school back in 1993, a fellow classmate and neighbor of his was actually murdered. 18-year-old Trisha Picacho was coming home at about, like, I think it was 1 a.m. I heard that while I was doing something else. I'm holding on to 1 a.m. There's a huge chance that I misheard that, but I feel like it was 1 a.m. after she was hanging out with some friends on August 13th of 93. So her father, in the morning, he wakes up and he pours himself a cup of coffee. He realizes he left something in his van, so he walks out of his house to go to his van. At the side door of their house, he finds his daughter dead.
Oh, no.
Right in front of the door.
Mm.
She had been stabbed multiple times. She apparently was just walking into their side entrance to their home. Someone jumped out of the bushes. They grabbed her by her left arm so hard they broke her arm. And then they proceeded to stab her 12 times.
Jeez.
At her doorstep. And then just left her body.
That's so sad.
It was so fucking sad. They couldn't wrap their head around anyone who would want to do this to her. She was one of those super sweet girls. She always followed the rules. She would tell her parents everything that was going on. Like, they never had to worry about where she was or if she was doing what she said she was going to be doing. She was unbelievably smart, and she was about to be a freshman at Purdue University. The police interviewed everyone, and there were no leads, no arrests. Her parents couldn't stay at the house anymore, obviously. And her parents are so sweet. Like, you're devastated for her parents. Like, you truly, truly are. And they realize they can't stay at the house anymore. They move away for about 4 years, and then they end up coming back to their hometown. Shortly after their return, though, an old high school friend of Doug. So Doug is Trisha's brother. He was, I think, like 14 at the time. He was home whenever it happened. So, like, his dad was screaming, and so he runs out there and he sees his sister too.
Yeah.
So Doug's best friend while he was in high school was Michael Gargiulo. a fellow football, or I don't know if he was a fellow football player or that Michael was just a football player. Football was involved, guys. Football was involved. So Doug shows up at their house, and Michael had come by and showed up at their house and asked Trisha's mom if he could talk to Rick, Trisha's dad. And she was like, well, he's at work. Like, you're welcome to stay here. And the kid waited an hour. I think it was like an hour or an hour and a half for Rick to come home. Just Michael did? Hour. Yeah. An hour. So Michael is a teenager just sitting. He was like 18 at the time. He was 17 at the time. 4 years later, he's like a 21-year-old kid, like sitting in their front. Yeah. And he was best friends to Doug, so he'd been in the house 1,000 times. Yeah. Like, keep in mind, he was basically like one of their kids.
Like, even if I went to your house and I was waiting, I would just be like, hey, have him call me. Like, I don't think I would sit there for that long.
I don't know. He needed to get something off his chest, I guess.
Sounds like it.
So once he walks in, Michael looks like he's about to drop something on him in that moment. Like, Rick could feel it. They felt like he had something he had to say. And then his dad, and I don't know how this happened, because he goes, whenever I walked in, I saw Michael. But then he says the garage door opened up. So I don't know if they because he always walked through the garage to get in and out. I just don't know if they were staining the garage and like his wife heard him coming in. So he was like, Michael, Rick's out in the garage, whatever. But anyway, the garage door comes up and Michael's dad and one of his sisters walks in and they're like, we have to go. Michael needs to go home. And so he never got to say anything and he walks right out of the house. Then Michael disappears. They go to the cops. Like, Trisha's parents are like, that happened. We're certain he has something to do with it. Michael leaves.
That's
so weird.
Bizarre.
Yeah. He eventually moves to Southern California in the late 90s, early 2000s to become what is easy to do in LA, an actor.
Of course.
Or maybe a model.
Oh.
Shoot for the stars.
Right. Just like.
You're not cute enough to be a model?
Everyone else.
I just want everyone to know. He was not cute enough to be a model. I don't know. I say that and there's some fucking ugly models these days. So maybe he is cute enough to be a model.
Who knows? Maybe he has a unique look. But you already told me he's a bad person, so fuck him.
Yeah. Anyway. He ends up getting a gig as a boxer in a movie, though, which is kind of interesting. Huh. He's also a bouncer at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. His friends there, they were talking on this documentary, and he told people there he was working to become a professional fighter. I was like, I guess whatever fucking storyline you want to play with, do it.
Maybe since you said he was a manipulative baby, that he was trying to put the vibe out there, like,
but he wasn't even trying to be that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Maybe he was trying to intimidate him, like, I'm a bouncer and I'm training to be a professional fighter. I'm so cool. Who knows?
These guys were really, really rode hard and put up wet, so they spent a decent amount of time in jail to themselves. So like, I don't know what he was doing there.
Who knows?
From there, he moves into the heating and cooling industry. He's living his normal life, as it seems, when he bumps into this guy who's fixing a tire on the street. Dun dun. No, Chris Duran, he's fixing this tire and he's with his friend Ashley Ellerin, who's 22. And she comes out of the house that she rents in this little area. So it's like a neighborhood, and then there's a park in the middle. And she rents one of the houses in that neighborhood. Okay. Just as a FYI. And Ashley ends up coming outside. It's her friend. They hang out. I don't know if they met in that moment or if they were just friends. And he literally got a flat tire outside of her house, which they were actual friends. So maybe that's what I don't fucking know. Anyway, Ashley's like, do you need help? And he's like, no, I know how to change a tire. And he was like, cool. I'm going to go flirt with this guy that's talking to me, which was Michael Gargiulo. Ashley Ellerin is breathtaking.
Really?
Like, stunning. She's so pretty. She's blonde. She's living in LA. She's fun and spontaneous, having just a fucking blast with her cool ass group of friends. They all look rich and LA cool. And they're just fucking footloose and fancy free.
Like Laguna Beach.
Wait, what?
Remember the hills in Laguna Beach?
Oh, I was like, what did you say? I have a very detailed like viewpoint of what I think life is like in LA.
Uh-huh.
And they just fit exactly
that. They fit that?
Like they all were supposed to like do a cameo on Melrose Place or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. She is even friends with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh.
And at that time, at that specific time of when this took place, he was an actor on that 70s show and he was an up and coming actor. So he was Ashton Kutcher, but he wasn't like Ashton fucking Kutcher, you know,
Right.
which is what he became just a few years later.
Yeah.
So this Mike guy, her friends know of him, and he's known for always trying to like get a hold of her. He is kind of like a lot. So he called them a ton, and then he would also like show up uninvited. So this one time, apparently, they were having a house party. It took me a minute to realize what happened. Like, I thought they were at a house party and he walked in and this happened. It was her house and she was having a house party and he just shows up, walks in.
Did they become friends after that?
They'd exchange phone numbers.
But cash. Like, hey, if we're all going to grab beers and we're having a cookout,
Maybe.
I'm inviting 50 people. Mike can come. Maybe.
Yes.
Like,
but very unlikely, no.
Okay.
More of,
that's so.
I met this dude on the street. He's called me a few times. I've kind of bullshitted him off. I'm not really interested.
Not feeling
whatever.
It. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering what.
But I might see him around because he apparently goes to that dog park or something.
He just showed. Okay. Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't think that. No.
I'll make it weirder. So he just shows up at that house party.
At her house.
At her house. Walks in and he's like laser focused on Ashley the whole time.
Ew.
Like they use the phrase laser focused.
Like creepy stalker.
And she wasn't, and she was just not interested. So like he was probably following her around like a puppy dog, super leaned in and engaged in her conversation. And she was at her own fucking party and wasn't really, you know, paying any attention to him. And like, it was just obvious she wasn't that into him.
That gives me the ick. Like,
yes. I don't know. I mean, 22. So well, I feel differently. Like if I was if I was 22 and I had a house party and like people knew, I wouldn't be shocked for friends to just walk in. Yeah. But for them to be like, oh, and I'm never shocked when somebody gives me too much attention. I'm just like, duly noted, you're giving me too much attention. You know, like I wouldn't think too much of it. I would just be like, whatever. But the friends noticed it and they were like,
see, I would be the asshole buzzed.
I would notice it. That's what I'm saying. You notate it.
I'd be the asshole friend that'd be like, are you?
He wasn't making her uncomfortable.
Oh, then that's
like he was just focused on her and she just wasn't. I mean, I don't know that.
Yeah.
They're just saying it was so obvious this dude liked her, but that she was not interested in him. Like it's her own party. She's more wrapped up in her own shit.
She's probably not even paying attention. I was just curious because I would be like, what is?
Anywho, on February 21st, 2001, Ashley, who is a fashion student, a part-time fashion student, just as an FYI, I'm going to guess that she had money because there's no way you can just do this stuff and be a part-time student, just date Ashton Kutcher and stuff. And she's about to get ready for her date with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh.
Yeah. They were going to go to dinner. He kept pushing back the time and he's running late, but they talk briefly as soon as she steps out of the shower at around 8:24 p.m. So he still arrives even later than he had thought from that conversation, around 10:45 p.m. Once more, when I'm like, LA time, if it was 8:30 and we're going to go grab dinner, I heard literally the phrase dinner being grabbed. So I'm just like, 10:45, this is not Europe. My stomach cannot possibly handle this food within the time frame before I go to bed.
That would be like fourth meal for me. I'd be like, so you want to grab late night dessert?
So are we going through the fucking late night window at Taco Bell?
I mean, I would be down for Ashton Kutcher if you're listening, which I bet he does.
Yeah.
He can totally get me a chalupa at 10:45.
Anytime. When he gets there, though, the lights are on. Her car's there. She doesn't answer the phone. And him being like, we're finally having a date. I don't know if it's like that they'd been friends for a long, whatever. They're having this date. He's 2 hours late. Like he was already late. He's pushed back the time. It's 10:45. Mm-hmm. He made the assumption that she was pissed off because he was so late.
Right.
And was ignoring her.
It just being like, fuck you,
fuck you, dude. I'm here, but I'm not answering.
I would totally do the same.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
And so eventually, like, he waits, and then he eventually feels like a little foolish, feels shitty that he fucked it up or whatever. And he decides to leave, but he peers in the window one more time. When he looks in, he sees what he thinks is red wine on the floor. And it was actually blood. Yes. The next morning, Jennifer DeSisto, her roommate, walks in to find her body outside of the bathroom.
No.
She had been attacked right after getting out of the shower.
Terrifying.
Which when I tell you these timelines in a minute, you're going to be like, how the fuck?
8:24.
She was stabbed 47 times. And the only assumption was that this was done with immense rage. 47 times. She'd received an injury to her neck that nearly severed her head. Deep punctures to her chest, stomach, and back. they had said there was a portion of her skull that had been pulled out when it like this stab into the out, like violent as fuck. Now, things to note really quickly. Ashley had to have known them. The way that her house is, it was kind of like a front gate with a lock and then another gate to the entrance. So they had to have been let in to some capacity.
Yeah.
There are 2 sections of her house that had those gates and likely were locked entrances. Plus, there was no evidence that they found outside of the residence. So they go to all of her acquaintances and they talk to Ashton. He told them what I told you, and he was basically just one person on a long list of people who it could have been. She was young, and at the time had tons of people in her life.
Right.
Like her circle at 22 was hundreds of people that it could have been.
Right.
And so he's on that fucking huge list of people to
How
talk to.
bizarre is that? Of all the people that could
right.
be
And of all the nights.
A suspect in all the times.
I heard other things too, like whenever I first read about this, that this like had like hidden my psyche for a little bit. But then Ashton Kutcher, like he went through a horrible time afterwards because if he would have been on time, his biggest thing was like if he called at 8:24 and she was showering, they were talking. If the date would have occurred at the time that it was supposed to, she wouldn't have been home. But that's all the years that he wonders who did that. Once you realize who it is, it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
That was the moment he chose. And he would have chosen another moment later on. It didn't matter.
Right.
But unfortunately, Ashton would never have known that for all the years it took for this to finally come to light.
Right.
She was also interesting. She was seeing somebody else. So she was talking to a Mr. Mark Durbin. Apparently and I saw him and I was like, oh, I've seen him in shows before. He's an actor, but not a very well-known one. And they highlight that pretty hardcore on the documentary, which made me fucking laugh. Like they fucking ripped the dude for being like not nearly as well of a known actor as like Ashton Kutcher. Like
they ChatGPT roasted him, but harder.
He got an actor who's not nearly as well known as Ashton Kutcher. Like basically,
I mean, that'd be like me in a swimsuit and fucking J-Lo in a swimsuit together. I don't know why she's stuck in my head today, but you know what I mean. You can't compare. It's Ashton fucking Kutcher. Everyone knows who he is.
But there's no way that Mark didn't watch this and felt shade. I will tell you, like Mark was like, that line was not necessary. Right. Like they did not need to say that. And they didn't. Like I just want to
just threw it in there.
They threw it in there. He was her property manager. So like they really could have held out this whole thing that he was a property manager and they all could have been like, oh, I think I saw him on fucking Supernatural one time or so, you know what I mean?
He played Dead Man number 6 on Law and Order episode 1.
Right.
Season 3.
Earlier that night, Ashley and her current flavor had a little sexy time.
Current flavor.
And I'm going to say that looked really sus because they had apparently fucked. He was at her house when she took the phone call with Ashton. So like they had sex and she had like jumped into the shower and he ends up leaving like right after she had gotten off the phone call with Ashton. So like once more, they had a private relationship. They were fucking, who knows? And she's obviously 22. There's no emotional concern about it because she's gonna go on another date, and who knows, she could have been putting it out for Ashton. Like, do your fucking thing, girl.
Right? Yeah, good for her.
Yeah,
living her life.
But I will say this made Mark 100% a suspect.
Yeah,
because keep in mind, she essentially was murdered right after he left.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She took the phone call, and I mean, I'm sure she didn't run it. I wonder if she ran in the bathroom and took it and was like,
well, she was out of the shower, so she could have been in her room changing and just on the phone, like, yeah, I'll meet you later. Who
knows?
Could have been who cares?
Yeah.
Or he was fucking his other tenants.
Yeah,
we don't know. Once more, she was 22. None of that shit. Like, you would fuck someone for the same level as you like going up and ordering a coffee from a coffee cart. Like, not as much thought. Right. It's an action.
Right. It's an action.
It's an action. It's an action item.
Oh yeah.
He ended up being like wiped from it pretty quickly. I'm gonna make the assumption strong alibi, and he was super honest about everything.
Yeah.
Her friends were like, dude, there's a heating and cooling guy. And the cops had taken note of this, but they hadn't. Like the friends were like, well, we just assumed that they didn't take it very seriously. And the cops are like, no, we put him on the list, but it took us months to find out what his last name was. Mike, the cooling guy who didn't technically live there. Like, it took him forever to find him.
Yeah, it's not like his name. That's a very common name.
And they also said, too, Not to mention, like, we went through the list, and yeah, it took us months to find his last name, but there were still so many other people. It still took forever to even get there.
Right.
So, like, it didn't matter. Michael would have eventually been interviewed, but it could have taken seriously fucking 2 years before he would have even been looked at.
Right. And then on TV, too, it looks like it happens, like, real quick. They're like, oh, you're not it. You're not it. And in all reality, they still have to call and, like, check alibis on even people that didn't. So, yeah, it probably takes way longer than what we
always
think an hour-long episode will take.
Right. In 2002, though, DNA technology is changing, and fuck yeah to that. That means that Trisha Pacaccio's evidence can now be tested.
Oh, good.
They get an unknown male contributor for under her fingernails. They get DNA from everyone, including her freaking dog. Like, no stone is left unturned. It also means that they're going through everyone that they talked to back in 93, and they're going to go get their evidence, even though that was 10 years ago, and Michael Gargiulo's on the list. So, 'tis time. The LAPD get with Michael, and they get his DNA. And they are very open with the fact that he was not happy about it, and he just had to do it.
They were like, well, tough titty. We're going to
10 years later, 2002, I've now already killed somebody else that I got away with. So now you want my DNA for something that happened 10 years ago.
Yeah, because then they'll be like, give it to us or we'll just get a warrant. Or they do like they do on TV and they follow you around. Then they're like, grab that Diet Coke can right now.
The labs are a match. And they're pumped and they're like, we're going to get to make this arrest. Guess what fucking happened?
I was going to say, I feel like you're going to let me down.
I'm going to let you down.
I could feel
Not even that easily.
What?
Okay. So they say that there's evidence underneath her fingernail.
Okay.
Apparently the day before her murder, she was out walking and Michael was driving with his friend Scott Olson. They see her. She had been crying and it was like outside of her house. So she's like, can you give me a ride to Ded's house? And they're like, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
They give her a ride because of that ride. One day before she got killed.
Oh, yeah.
They're saying that it could have been like trace evidence that happened from casual interaction.
Ugh.
That is actually wrong by the way that it was tested, but it wasn't proven in the moment. And so the case goes like just stops.
No.
They know that, but the fucking judge, I guess, or whoever it is that would have signed off on it was like, you can't confirm that DNA under her nail wasn't because she had like accidentally scratched his arm or something whenever they came in contact the day before. It's not enough for a search warrant. In 2002, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Whew.
They need more DNA. So, it seems like it would make sense for Michael to leave where he's at because he killed another person. It's time for him to scooch. Now, the cops they say, like, they're like, okay, so you're telling me that they know Michael Gargiulo did it. That he did it. We should watch him. And the cops are like, dude, okay, we were kind of watching him, but he really stayed under the radar. We believe that he knew that we were watching him. And so he just flew a little lower. Yeah. But they didn't know where the fuck he was. At the end of the day, they watched him a little bit. Homeboy moved. They don't know where he ended up going after that. But they could have found out because of his bank accounts and stuff. They just weren't fucking outside his house with binocs every night.
Binocs.
He ends up living his fucking life. He has a few different ladies filtering through his bed.
Ugh.
And he actually ends up fathering a child. He is a kid. So by 2005, he's settled in suburban El Monte, which is about 20 miles east of Hollywood.
So he didn't go far.
No, he's been in LA this whole time.
I know. And they're like, we don't know where he went. He moved.
But no one was looking.
Minutes. Yeah.
That's the other thing that sucks is no one was really fucking.
Doesn't sound. No.
Right. Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic imploring your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
where we are right now,
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
Your podcast can go further when you have a Wonderboy.
Hit up Drew today at wboymedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding. It doesn't take long before another beautiful young woman is murdered within close proximity to Michael Gargiulo. On December 1st, 2005, in his neighborhood, technically in his apartment complex on the other side of the courthouse, imagine a square, another murder takes place.
No.
On December 1st of 2005, 32-year-old Maria Bruno was brutally murdered in her own home in her bed.
Oh, God.
She woke up to someone attacking her and they stabbed her 17 times.
What the fuck?
Absolute nightmare. They had snuck in through her kitchen window, grabbed a knife in her kitchen, and then headed straight for her room.
So didn't even bring a weapon.
Not that we just know that that was the one he used.
You know, though, like.
Well, I'm sure he had one. He just chose to use hers because he realized he could get in through the kitchen.
It's so bizarre.
It is. The more bizarre points is that she had 2-year-old twins.
No, stop.
A 4-year-old and a 5-year-old at home with her.
He didn't kill the kids too, did he?
No, just killed her. The first suspect on this seemed super easy. It was her ex-husband, Irving, who she had violent fights with. They show in the court case of, like, Irving at one point had ripped her out of the car by her hair and punched her in the face.
Fuck him.
Yeah. So, yeah. She had left him and moved into this apartment a week ago. Like, It was within the week. Like, she was murdered in that apartment within the week. Specifically because it was a gated community. And that was important to her.
That's so sad.
The one piece of evidence found was in the parking lot. And it was a blue bootie. So, like, one of those, like you'd think a surgeon would wear, or something like a heating and air conditioning guy would put on his feet whenever he comes services your house.
The foot cover. Yeah, yeah.
They go to her ex-husband, and he actually has her blood in his car.
Huh?
Look at this shit. Tell me what the odds are of this. You beat your wife.
Yeah.
She leaves you and gets in an apartment. She gets murdered in the apartment. You have blood in your car. They decided that they were going to rekindle their relationship. They'd gone on a date. They went to dinner. She cut her hand. So bad so that the blood actually dripped in his car. Luckily, the server had seen the cut.
Oh.
Which, didn't that happen before in another one?
I feel like there was an accidental something like that. But that makes me so sad. She was trying to get away. She moved to, right? And then she moved to the apartment, and then that happened.
You would never think another person in your apartment would murder you.
And it obviously looks like that fuckbag that was her ex.
And she is startling gorgeous too. Like, she is a gorgeous woman.
Man.
I said about the restaurant. Once more, this case goes cold too for Maria Bruno, sadly. And her kids are left without a mother and without answers. It's just fucking sucks.
Yeah, because when the kids get older, whenever this clears up and you get to the end, like, they're going to think that I'm assuming that's their dad. I don't know.
Yes, it is.
But, like, so they would think their dad killed their mom when they get older. Like, everyone in their life probably thinks, well, your dad did this.
100%.
Like, so it would be,
even in the court cases, like, in court, they're like, dude, it wasn't Michael, it was Irving. They pushed on Irving the whole time.
I mean, why? I get it.
I get it too.
Defense lawyers defensing.
All right. What more can they do? So what's Michael up to? Well, he leaves his girlfriend and that new little baby, and he heads to the beach. I'm like, I can't be weighed down with all this shit. Ain't no lady or baby gonna hold me down. I'm going to the beach. The sea is calling my name, and I shall answer it. And he went and he answered
this
it.
Fucking baby's not gonna manipulate me.
Right?
Damn it.
Fast forward, or he ends up going to Santa Monica.
Okay.
He picks fucking banging ass locations.
Right.
Fast forward to April 28th of 2008.
How?
5 years.
Okay, thank you.
Roughly. The police are called to an apartment complex where 26-year-old Michelle Murphy is the victim. She woke up to the feeling of being stabbed in the middle of the night. Oh my God. She was stabbed multiple times in her chest, her shoulder, and her right arm. Her hands were wounded super badly because she had fought off the knife attack. She lived.
She did?
Fought off the knife attack with her hands.
Oh.
She was only 5'1". So she's literally sleeping and wakes up to being stabbed in her chest by a man. At some point, she is, no one knows how, she's able to get her feet up to her chest and push him off.
Look at that.
Yes. He stumbles off the bed, out of the room. She's like chasing him.
She pissed.
No, right?
Adrenaline takes over.
Adrenaline. And she starts running after him like a fucking badass ninja warrior princess. And at some point in this, he says, I'm sorry. That's all I could say is like, he's like, I'm sorry. And he runs off out of the apartment. She calls her boyfriend, who then calls the cops. Obviously, she's panicked that she thinks to call him and doesn't even think to call the cops.
Right.
They find blood outside of the apartment, and they knew they had him. Like, there's a blood trail, a big blood trail, because at some point in the fight, she'd cut him.
Good for her.
He got cut. But he didn't get kind of cut. He'd have gotten cut bad enough that there was blood.
Like,
blood. Like, blood in the room. There's blood everywhere in the fucking room. But, like, huge parts of, like, blood that was separate to the mass casualty of what was going on for Michelle.
Yeah.
And then it's an actual tracked path outside.
So it's like, so they're like dragged a trash
someone
bag.
Ran. Yes.
Took a trash bag full of blood out, and it leaked like in your
leaked
trash
all
bag
the way
leaked.
through. And they're like, oh, let's go this way. Turn left.
Follow it
like
to
they
the toter.
knew they had him. And it was obvious it was the perp's blood. Like, there wasn't a question if it was Michelle's. It was fucking his.
Yeah.
25 days after the sample goes in, they have a hit. Michael Gargiulo. Motherfucker.
6'2", and she's 5'1". And he was, quote unquote, training to be a fight. Okay, good for this. What's her name again? Sorry,
Michelle.
Michelle. Good for her.
They made the match up against his DNA from the Trisha Pacascio murder.
Yeah.
I spelled it wrong here and then it threw me. I kept swapping. It's Pacaccio. I kept changing the double C's to double L's and then changing her last name the whole time. It was a journey. Trisha, I'm sorry. Pacascio. I'm sorry that your last name bamboozles me every time. FYI, Michael lived so close to Michelle that they had shown him, like, they were walking through the back alley where the cars were parked. You could see in her bedroom from where he parked his truck, basically, or his vehicle.
Oh, man.
If her blinds were up, of course. He's arrested on June 6, 2008 for the assault on Michelle Murphy. When he's arrested, he asked where the cops were, like which agency the cops were from, which means he was trying to figure out which crime he was being charged for. Wow. And the cops knew that. Whenever he asked that, they were like, there's more crimes.
Yeah.
So when they, keep in mind, these cops are only going after him for Michelle Murphy.
Right.
Yes, they get a hit up against the Trisha one. They're not arresting him for Trisha yet.
Yeah.
Like, so everything still has to, like, come together. The cops are communicating, though, and they're starting to, like, tie everything together. And finally, Maria Bruno comes up because of where she had lived and where he had lived. So once more, she, too, lived in his apartment complex. When they go to his place, they look in the attic and they find the exact same style, brand, type of booty that was found at Maria Bruno's house. Then they realize that Michael walked his dog at the park near Ashley's home and was the neighbor to Trisha. So everything's coming together to create this, like, horrifying and perfectly placed picture together. He's then charged with the murders of Ashley Ellerin and Maria Bruno. What about Trisha?
Right.
It would take until 2011.
Why?
With 48 hours doing a piece on the Hollywood Ripper called The Boy Next Door. And they talk about the unsolved case of Trisha. Do you remember those bouncer buddies we talked to? Teamer Leary is one of them. Coolest fucking name. Teamer Leary. And the other dude is Anthony DiLorenzo.
Okay. These two homeboys.
They watched the show on Trisha's death. And once more, even though they had the DNA at that one point, they still didn't say that Michael had done it.
Right.
Like, there still wasn't enough evidence. They weren't coming. They were not going to come for him for Trisha. Okay. Like, we need to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
As I said, the parents of Trisha were so sweet, and you die for them. You die for them. You feel unbelievable sadness for them.
And he was their son's best friend.
Yes. So anyway, Teamer Leary and Anthony, like, Teamer calls in like 248 hours after he sees it. And Teamer was a pretty naughty guy. I'd mentioned that how he'd gone and he was in and out of jail. I'm going to be honest with you. Anthony and Teamer both 100% are, like, fried a bit.
Yeah.
Like, the way they talk, everything about them is muted, dialed down, underwater.
Oh, got it. So it may not be a credible, like, witness.
No.
Like, would it affect their credibility?
No, I was only saying that for you to understand the type of guys that they have become over the years.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yes, they went to jail. Lots of tattoos at this point. They ended up having kids. And after seeing the parents, because they had kids now, they were so sad that they both called in. Like, Teamer had called in 48 hours. They go and they get with the LAPD. for this case.
Oh.
So back in 2000, when they were working with Michael, they said they were cruising down Sunset, and he said, "You guys ever kill anybody?" "I have." And he admitted it to Teamer and Anthony. They think he's joking, and they're like, "Fucking dude.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, whatever." He goes, "Yeah, I buried a bitch." He goes, "I left the bitch on the steps for dead."
Ugh.
So 48 hours have put him in touch with Chicago authorities, and he ends up being indicted for the murder of Trisha Picacho.
Good.
Because of Teamer and Anthony calling in, because of 48 hours.
Good.
Because then they realized. They watched the show and they were like, that's where Homeboy was from.
And then you're like, oh.
They were found on the back step. Neighbors?
Good for them for putting that puzzle together.
Well, and then after the court, they ended up going. Obviously as like fucking witnesses.
Yeah.
And they like are holding their parents like in tears over the fact that like they were the reason that the daughter and the justice was even served in the first place.
Right.
On May 2nd, 2019, the case against Michael Gargiulo finally fucking begins.
That's forever.
2019.
That's forever.
Yes. It has taken him longer to go to trial than any other inmate in the history of the LA County Jail.
Why?
Nearly 11 years. I'll tell you.
Was he in jail that whole time?
Yes. Let me tell you.
Okay.
There have been nearly 100 hearings. He's fired attorneys. He's even tried to represent himself.
Oh, God. He's one of those. Mm-hmm. So he was just throwing every curveball he possibly could.
He was just being a fucking fuckwad, wasting our taxpayer money and pissing off attorneys. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was acting like he had a little dick.
Well.
In our minds, they have everything, right? Like in the storyline of everything I've just said, you feel confident about the case, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Me too.
Don't make me mad.
We have blood. We have DNA. We have close proximity. We have a fucking booty.
Right.
We got that booty.
Everything.
There was no other evidence, though, which means no one saw it. There weren't other fingerprints. Like, they were going to have a fight ahead.
Like it was still circumstantial-ish.
Ish. I would say ish.
Reasonable doubt-ish.
They need to prove that this man watched these women, stalked them, inserted himself into their lives, and then brutally killed them in their moment of peace. In their rooms.
A journey.
Essentially. The prosecution starts with its strongest case and most powerful witness. They start with Michelle Murray. Not Murray, because that's not who she is. Michelle Murphy. Mm-hmm. And she is called to the stand. His blood is found at the scene in her bedroom. They talk about Maria, how he snuck in her house, how he murdered her, how he left the booty. Then there's Ashley Ellerin, who lived near Michael, had him inject himself into her life. Ashton is called to the stand, which is made to be this huge fucking thing. He was super important about, he ended up being a key witness. And you can either decide, is Ashton Kutcher a key witness? Or are you doing this because it's Ashton Kutcher now?
Right.
Because 29 Homeboy is fucking famous and married to Mila Kunis and everything. Like,
right.
Why is it? And it's purely because of the phone conversation in the timeline. Because she died within like 5 minutes. Or was attacked within like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's possible that Ashton was the last one to talk to her. Or Mark. So he ended up being a key witness. He's in there. And it's just media mayday. Now let me tell you this.
Okay. I'll let you.
Okay.
I give you permission.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So they bring this guy on there that's supposedly Michael's best friend. I didn't even get his name because I don't care. And he says to his friend that he would just lie until I die. He's like, if you ever get arrested, lie until you die. He also had read and watched everything on forensics. So like as Michael grew and got older, and he obviously had a trend, he had a style, he had a motive operandi or whatever it is.
Okay.
Is it modus operandi? I think.
Yeah, no, yeah. Right? That's why I was like, bravo.
So he has all of this going for him. While he was doing that, he was researching. Number one, he stalked the women for long periods of time. He was reading everything on forensics. He was watching the killing shows. He was trying to figure out how he could get away with it for as long as he could get away with it, because essentially he was. And his fucking map wasn't all that big. Yes, California's fucking huge. But like in the overall, he stuck to one area.
And he wasn't going that far. Like, the one he went in his own apartment building.
Right.
So, yeah. And then, like, forensic files, even the new forensic files, they break it down, like, to everything. Yes. They say they got caught because of this. Or this is the brand new technology. So, like, it's interesting. But on the other hand, they show you.
I mean, everyone always makes jokes to us that we would know how to get away with murder. Like, everyone assumes because we talk about murder so much that we could get away with murder.
Right.
And it's like, no. I would like to highlight, no, it does not mean that we could get away with murder.
We will know how
It just means that we would know likely how we got caught in the moment we got caught.
Right.
I'd be like, it was my Snapple lid, wasn't it? I left my fucking Snapple lid. A fucking Snapple. I touched it. I popped that bitch out.
I chugged my Arizona iced tea.
Yeah.
You're doing throwback
It
drinks.
was the fucking iced tea.
It's my Fruitopia.
Yes, man. They were saying in court and everything, they were like, oh, he had fucking watched things on how to handle a knife the right way.
What?
Like how to how to kill using a knife. He had looked into that. Which is great because he ended up getting stabbed. And like cut himself. So bitch failed at the end whenever somebody actually was able to react and attack back. They said that he got off on stabbing people, the act of the control. He didn't rape them, but that the control was his sexual thrill. The act of stalking them helped give him some stimulation, if you will, or stimulation, but it wasn't enough. And so it always had to escalate. So he was basically the concept, which once more, all of this is like, we're all fucking just making shit up, right? Like we don't fucking know this because Michael is lie until you die, motherfucker. But the assumption here is like, he would stalk and like keep the bug alive in the web as long as he could, until he couldn't cope anymore.
That's a really right way to put it. I
right.
feel like, yeah.
Just fucker.
Keep the bug in the web.
During court,
God.
They took everyone out to the location of the crimes, which I thought was really badass.
Even the jury?
Yeah, they took the jury specifically so that they could show, so that they could show them how close he lived to all of these women.
They're like, look.
And then I wanted to remind you on this one, like Trisha isn't in this case because they were in California. That was Chicago. So just reminder, this is only focused on Ashley, Maria, and Michelle.
So they're like, stand here. This is where he parked his truck. Look in that window.
He lives right there.
See, I love when they take the juries on location like that because they can actually see. It's one thing to say it, but if you're standing in a parking spot and looking at a window.
Not all that common that somebody chose to kill someone where he had mail delivered within a very close proximity. He's a fucking idiot.
Right.
At the end of the day, like.
He's a smart idiot.
Dude, pick one. No, because he could have been caught all this time.
True.
Like there were chances. He was on the suspect list in all of them.
Somehow he
made it on the list, except for Maria Bruno, because she would have if they just grabbed everyone from the apartment complex. Yeah, but he wasn't smart. It was close proximity to him where he would keep coming up on the list of suspects to be interviewed sheerly because of the close proximity of a murder.
Right.
Fucking idiot. Stupid fucking idiot. Now, they do try to say that Ashley's murderer was freaking Mark Dermott, as I mentioned, her property manager. He was there when she was in the shower and left minutes before she was attacked. Maria's attacker, of course, it's her abusive ex-husband, Irving. We all know that.
Right.
They're doing what they can to put that down there. That's all they need. They're putting it out there.
One person.
Yes. His DNA being on the booty, well, he dropped it. He works in the area. Duh. That's how that's there. They squashed that the DNA under Trisha's nails was from casual contact, not murder, they say. They squash it because this is the shit that pisses me off as I get rowdy as all get out because I always do.
Now I want to move in my chair because you're moving. Actually, my legs are asleep, so I had to move them.
So back whenever they had tested that DNA, they said it was casual contact. They talked to someone else and they're like, no, it was not casual contact. It was a 50-50 mix. That meant that half of the DNA under her nails was hers, but it was also 50% someone else's. You cannot have two people's DNA interact the way it did and be a 50-50 mix unless it was prolonged interaction, prolonged contact.
Right.
So from the jump, nothing should have happened after 2003, 2002. Yeah. he should have been arrested then.
That's what I was thinking too, because like, yeah, I can get in your car. Like, say Travis, your husband, gave me a ride and I hugged him when I left and I accidentally scratched his arm. That's not going to have there's a difference between fighting for my life and accidentally scratching your husband's arm.
Right.
Like, that's
what I'm saying too.
So
like agreed 100%. It's
that's
like,
bizarre.
was someone lazy? Like, and the guy who did it, he goes, it just wasn't conclusive enough. I'm like, was it not conclusive enough at the time? And in 2019, whenever they retested the evidence, they were able to see. But I just don't feel like 2002 to 2019 has had like groundbreaking shit in the forensic side of it. I could be fucking wrong, but I feel like an opportunity
could have saved lives.
Was dropped.
That's the bummer part. Like it could have saved lives.
Right. Now, how are they going to fight Michelle? Like, what are they going to say to Fashite? To fight.
What are they going to fashite?
I don't know.
How are they going to fashite?
I'm trying to find out.
I'm trying to fuck around and find out.
So Michelle's, obviously his DNA is everywhere. The defense team says that Michael wasn't in his right mind. And that when he got cut, it took him out of his fog. Oh. He realizes what he's doing. That's why he jumps up and goes, "I'm sorry," and leaves.
Okay, so are they saying, what are they saying? What do you mean? Is he on drugs? Is he drunk?
They're saying he had a psychotic break. He blacked out. He doesn't remember any of it. He woke up when he got stabbed. That's why he apologized and ran out.
That is so dumb.
I know.
I hate when they say shit like that.
So when they did that and they were talking about it, they were like, look, everyone tries. Everyone tries the plea of not being, it's like, I was there, but I wasn't really there. Mm-hmm. Everyone tries that plea. They're like, that only actually works in a court proceedings whenever there's like, there's evidence of like schizophrenia. Yeah. They're like, that's one, if there's evidence of prolonged voices in the head, yes, there's a chance that would actually like come through.
Right.
But there's just no fucking chance. And they were just doing whatever they could. They're like, we have to fill in these 6 pages. So just type whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
No one's going to read it.
It's like on that part, they just put wingdings in their research paper.
Right.
They're like, turn it in. Stupid fucker. Well, I mean, I guess that's literally their only option. What else are they going to say?
Exactly.
They can't say shit about fuck.
They were trying to say, they brought in 2 psychiatrists and said that he had split personality disorder.
Oh, Jesus.
Or dissociative personality disorder. A split personality apparently changed into dissociative.
So they can go to any doc. It's just like all of them. They go to as many doctors as they can. If I go to one doctor, I can get them to say what I want. You could go to the same doctor and get them to say
same thing
with
research studies. It depends on who's paying for it. Did it work though? I fucking hope not.
Don't make me mad.
I would hope not. We have a clear serial killer with evidence and a specific trend. If this guy doesn't go to jail, then what the fuck are we even doing here?
Right.
On August 15th, 2019,
so dumb,
Michael Gargiulo was convicted on all accounts. Yay. The penalty phase of his California trial started on October 7th, 2019. They also have another trial in Cook County for Trisha. They still say he should have been arrested by 2003. They're like, y'all fucked up. Know that the DNA should have been enough and that they had fucked it up and they did it wrong. And that it is what it is. It is what it is. So a mother died with fucking 4 kids. Yeah. 4 fucking kids. On October 18th, 2019, a jury rendered a verdict of the death penalty for Michael Gargiulo after several hours of deliberation. But sentencing for Michael in California continued to be delayed by defense motions. On July 16th, 2021, so not that long ago, Michael Gargiulo was sentenced to death. Now, he was extradited to Illinois. Look at this. I want you guys to understand on Trisha's side. All of this has not been Trisha's side, technically.
Right.
He's already sentenced to death, so it's like, you want it for Trisha's family. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until he was extradited to Illinois on September 6, 2024.
That's so...
like 8 months ago, something like that. To face trial for the 1993 killing of Trisha Picacho.
God.
If convicted, he faces a sentence of life without parole. I currently do not have an update on this, but I believe it's safe to say that it's just a matter of time before he gets the death penalty for her.
Man.
That is the sad story of the murders of Trisha Picacho, Ashley Ellerin, Maria Bruno, and the attack of Melissa Murphy. Michelle,
Did you call her
Melissa
Militia? Militia Murphy.
The attack.
I'm not letting you get away.
You have to because I'm stating
I know.
something sad. So you have to let it go.
All right. I'll let it go.
And the attack of Michelle Murphy by the Hollywood Ripper, Michael Gargiulo.
Fuck. I remember seeing those interviews of Ashton Kutcher on.
Me too. When he had a mustachio. He mustachioed.
You were like twirling your hair and you're like, when he had a mustache, yeah.
I loved it. It was like,
it was a bizarre phase in the Kutcher realm.
It was just like, dude, shave the stash for court.
Shave it for court.
Because no matter what, stash is still to me, and they will my whole life, because it doesn't fucking matter. It's my journey.
That's right.
I'm a millennial, and it is what it is. Mustachios is what I was going to say. Always make me think of like Baywatch and fucking, I don't know, the dude that played on Friends. I don't know that. Burt. Is it Burt?
Burt Reynolds?
Burt Reynolds.
Is that who that is?
I think so.
The Monica one where he's her eye doctor?
Yes. So like all that shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it looks like a joke to me. If you have a mustache, I think it's a joke. So you wearing a mustache and bringing it to court makes me feel like you're joking.
Maybe he was trying to be like, I'm not Ashton Kutcher. I have a mustache. Please ignore who I am. I have a mustache.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That one made me so sad because like this story sucks.
It does.
Because there's just nothing you can do about it. Like you're sleeping. It has me like so much more paranoid because we're in that time of year where I'm like always sleeping with the windows open because the weather is so nice. And you're like,
I don't do all
fuck,
that.
these people are just like sneaking into houses, killing you for no reason.
Mm-mm.
He should have been caught. It sucks that he wasn't. It sucks that like he got away. And not even that that another murder occurred, but that he had all those years free.
Yeah.
Like he was free for so many years.
It was sad. I wonder how Michelle.
Oh, she's like an advocate.
I bet she is.
Did
she have injuries or anything? Like, I mean,
she was stabbed
like
a lot.
Lifelong.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm curious.
I'm sure the scars.
Besides, it
wasn't stated anywhere in my research.
I'm just curious because some of them you see and they're like survivors, and then it's like, oh my god, their whole life has changed.
Yeah.
Which either way, her life's gonna be changed.
Correct.
You know how people could change our lives?
By like, rate, review, subscribe.
Did you like that segue?
Our stuff. Could you please like, rate, review, subscribe?
Yeah, please.
Tell your friends. Share our stuff.
Share it. Share it all.
Sign up for Patreon.
If you want more of this shit.
Message us on Facebook if you have a story.
Tell us whatever you want.
Tell us everything.
Tell us all the
things.
Be our friend. Be our friend.
Because we love you.
We do.
Don't forget. Don't get mad.
Get sassy.
We love you.
Bye.
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 This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, a couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I bet that